The 780th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Rhythm, the leader in data-driven picks and props. Rhythm is giving away a $250 future and throwing a March Madness party. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for all the details. Plus, compete against SGPN this March in an epic college basketball survivor contest. First place gets $75,000. Enter at splashsports.com/SGPN. And SGPN is giving away $2,000 in our free March Madness bracket competition. Sign up today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket.
Howdy ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 780 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to a friend in the Discord, Matty J, who says he loves us all. Now, I don't know if that's a cry for help. Should we be worried about Matty? Or does he really love us all? Or is this just, is it sarcastic? Who's to say? But people in the Discord are very nice. So it could just be sincere. He really does love us all. So thank you, Matty J. I don't even know if you listen to the show, but this goes out to you anyhow. Welcome to the show, part 2. Part 1 is on the editor. It will be on the director's cut. We're all about the UFC today, as you can tell by the title, UFC Fight Night. Vettori versus Delayed 2, the rematch that no one asked for, but we're getting two middling middleweights. Oh, hey, that's a good.
How well did you remember that they had both fought each other?
You just assume. Well, like you just assume that it seemed like guys who would have fought, right?
It was one of those moments where I was like, I feel like these guys have fought before, and then somebody was like, it's the rematch, and I was like, oh, so they have fought before.
Yeah, that's gonna be brilliant. Everyone say hi to him. He's as jazzed as I am about this main event. But this episode,
the top of the card's pretty terrible, but the bottom of the card's good.
Well, that's what we're covering today. Tell the people what you like so much about this bottom of the card we're talking about.
Prospects, people who punch hard, people who weirdly surprise us in times we're not ready for them to. It's like a weird card. A guy who got bit one time.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to like about it. It's weird.
It is weird. It is weird. Definitely. Is there a lot of who the hell is this guy? UFC Fight Night. Who the hell is this guy?
No, I knew you had to look people up.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I knew all these people. There's no newbie.
There's a few. Not yet. There is one in the very first fight we're talking about.
Musasa. Yeah.
No, 2. Duben. Duben has not fought in the UFC either.
Oh, yeah. You remember
Duben. Dennis series stuff. Yeah. I remember her because we've been getting spam with our friend in the Discord, Goofy Deer.
Goofy Deer. Shout out to his gift making abilities. That dude,
it's improving.
He's the king of the gift. Yeah. He's gonna be the king of the gift one day.
You will be someday. It's pissing people off, which is funny as well.
That's how you know it's good.
They're so goofy and random too, which is great too. So we got 7 fights to talk about on this here card, so we probably should dive into it, right? Vettori versus Delayed 2. We will not be talking about those gentlemen. We will be talking about a lot of female fights. They've really front loaded or back loaded, depending on how you look at it. The fight card with female fights, like all three of the first 4 fights are female fights, and that's it. Because they have to leave space for middleweights and heavyweights higher up the card, right? So get all the female fights out of the way. All right, before we get into that, I got some new ad reads. So I'm reading these. I don't read these in advance. That way you can hear me stumble my way through them live. I figure that's always more entertaining. These are good ad reads. So we are giving away things. We are not asking you to do anything for us. We're trying to give you things. It's all about the SGPN promos. First, we are giving away $2,000 in our free March Madness bracket competition. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/bracket to sign up today. And if that's not enough, you can also compete against SGPN this March in our $75,000. Gumby has caught that up for us because he's so good at winning on regional MMA. He's given up $75,000. Winner take all college basketball survivor contest. Enter at splashsports.com SGPN. It's not really out of Gumby's pocket. I'm just joking about that part. Gumby probably wouldn't be doing this show anymore if he was making $75K off of regional MMA, right?
No, probably not. And I love you guys, but no, probably not.
I did have someone say to me, it may have been one of my brothers, like if Gumby's like up like 24 units or whatever last year, 48 units or whatever last year, just bet like $1,000 on each one of those plays, and that's like a salary right there. I'm like, it's true.
Yeah.
It's good logic.
You can't.
Good
I don't think you can
logic.
count on. I don't think you can count on being up 50 units a year. I mean,
Yeah.
I like to think I'm pretty good. You know, I was up
Yep.
20 the year before and 50 last
There you
year.
go. See,
Yeah,
that's still
but,
profit.
like, yeah,
Think about it.
yeah, you know.
I'm sure your wife would be on board with that, right? And your
we'll
children.
We'll take out another mortgage.
Exactly. That's what mortgages are for. All right. Now that we know what, let you know what our minds states are here. Let's get down to this fight night: Vettori versus Deleted 2, aka UFC Vegas 104, which is what you'll see it called basically on all the stuff that we put on sportsgamblingpodcast.com. We're starting with a women's flyweight bite fight. See, you got bite in my mind now, Gumby, because we have a bitey coming up, or bitey. This is Juneisy Duben versus Carli Judice. They are fighting at flyweight, and we're going to tell you about Duben first. I'm not telling you where she's from because I don't have Tapology open. She's from somewhere South America, not
Venezuela.
Brazil. Venezuela. Okay, I actually do have Tapology open.
Venezuela or Colombia? It might be Colombia.
Somewhere down there. It's a yellow and blue and red flag. I think that's a Colombian flag. This is very exciting on the air. Venezuela, actually.
I was right the first time.
She's a You can't call her Venezuela Vixen, though. That is taken by our queen. All right. Duben does not have a nickname. Maybe she will. Early in her career, there's still time. As Gumby would say, there's still time. She's 6-0 with 1 no contest, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. So she owes us some rounds, damn it. This is her UFC debut proper. She went 1-0 on Contender Series. Knocked out a Canadian. A Canadian actually knocked herself out. She walked into a bunch of punches. Is what happened with her chin.
Just one punch, yeah, not a bunch.
Just one. But she was getting clipped before that as well. But yeah, it only took one to finish it. She's won 6 straight fights. She has won 5 straight via TKO. So it wasn't really a fluke that Shannon Clark walked into a punch. That's kind of what Duben does. She's a retail champ. Used to fight at 115. More active landing strikes than Judice. There's very small sample sizes for these ladies. She outstruck her opponent, Shannon Clark, by 9.04 strikes on Contender Series. Despite all that, plus 290. Crispy Carli Judice, 3-2 with 3 knockouts. Never been finished in a fight. 0-1 in the UFC. 0-1 in Contender Series. That's part of a 2-fight losing streak. Used to fight up at 135, 3 inches of height, 3 inches of reach on Duben. Most people are bigger than Duben, it seems, though. She's kind of short. 3 years younger than Duben, triple threes, better grappling stats than Duben, and she's outstruck her opponents in the 2 fights we have stats for by 1.13 strikes per minute, minus 350. So a very, very big line to kick things off, Gumby.
Yeah, I don't think I'm rushing out to the books to get Carli Judice at this price, but I'm still going to pick her. I think the big problem for me with Yuneisy Duben is, like, if you watch that fight, yeah, she lands the big knockout blow on that overhand right on Shannon Clark. And you know, like, it's a good punch. I'm not going to take that away from her. But, like, her boxing is not fundamental leading up to that. Like, she's really sloppy. And I wondered if that was, like, you know, jitters or whatever. But, like, you can go back and you can watch her last fight on the regional scene, which, by the way, you know, it's available on YouTube. She fought an 0-0 gal whose corner threw in the towel even when it didn't look like she was hurt. It looked like they were like, oh, we shouldn't have signed up for this kind of deal. But, like, you know, even in that fight, like, there are times where she throws these combinations that have punches on the end of them where you're like, did you practice throwing this punch at all? You know, like, it looks really sloppy. And, you know, the thing about Clark is, you know, she was a bruiser. She was a grappler. She's great in the clinch. She had good sub skills. You know, she was good at putting a pace on people. And she didn't get a chance to do any of those things. And, like, now she's going to be fighting a completely different kind of fighter. She's going to be fighting somebody who's very good from range, does a really good job of establishing distance, is going to have a 3-inch height and reach advantage, which Clark didn't have either of those things. And, like, I think this is the perfect matchup for Judice. And in addition to that, we've now seen Judice go deep into fights, you know, which was a question we had on her coming into Contender Series. Like, can she go deep? Because she was knocking people out. Now she's the one we know can go 15 minutes. She's the one who can go deep into a fight. Can Duben, because she hasn't really. Right, like, she hasn't had to weather a storm and get deep into a fight, and throwing punches like that, I have to imagine she's going to gas herself out. So I like Judice here, and if you're looking to make that line a little sweeter, because if you're like me, I can't get behind the negative 350. I'm going to be looking for late props. I'm going to be looking for, like, Judice in round 3 kind of deals, because, like, you're probably going to find a lot better numbers in that way.
I agree. While I agree with everything Gumby said, I'm still taking a flyer on Duben. Crazy as that sounds. You thought so?
You just like people who punch hard, and that's like
I'm like, what?
You know,
Am I Dana White now or something?
Yeah, I mean, like you're one of those people when you're handicapping a fight, you're like,
God,
yeah, you're right, they're way better, but she punches hard.
It doesn't.
And you know what? That's going to be really relevant in the next fight we're going to talk about.
Is that not the deciding factor in fights more often? Maybe not more often than that, but very often.
At women's flyweight?
Sure. She seems to hit differently, though. Like, she seems to hit differently in the like. I mean, knocks everyone out, which is very rare.
True. But on a whole bunch of ladies who are 0-0 and maybe never fought again, and one person who is 5-0 and never really fought a boxer who could hit her.
We can't talk experience when we're talking about Judice, though. Come on, Judice's fought 5 people, and she's known
fought
for
better
losing.
Fighters than Duben.
I know. No,
she's beaten better fighters.
She's a better fighter. She is a better fighter. She's bigger. I'm still taking Duben because she slangs those hammers.
She beat Anna Crutchfeld, which I feel like people don't realize. And Anna Crutchfeld is like a 5 or a 6-1
people don't
professional,
realize who that is,
and she's really good.
Only Gumby knows who that is. So I'm not saying she's better. I'm just saying, especially at this price, I think she's worthy of a stab. So I'm gonna stab her. She's not gonna be my dog of the week, though. Someone stole my dog of the week. I was just about to write about my dog of the week, and then I went, wait a minute. Someone wrote about this yesterday on the site already. So we'll talk about that soon enough. Gumby stole my pick. Anyhow, women's bantamweight we're moving to, going way up. Josi and Nunes versus Priscila Cachoeira. We also have another person nicknamed Cachoeira on this fight card. These ladies are fighting 3 5-minute rounds. Hopefully they go all 15, Gumby. This is an amazing matchup. Let's tell you about Zombie Girl first. That would be Cachoeira. 12-6 with 7 knockouts. She's been submitted 4 times, 4-6 in the UFC. She's lost 2 straight. Before that, she won 2 straight. Both of her past 2 losses have come via submission. That seems to be the way she loses. It's not fought since January 2024. Used to fight at 125. Missed weight before at 125. 5 inches of height over Nunes. Everyone is at least 5 inches taller than Nunes at this point, though. In this weight class, like, it's crazy that she's 5'7", I think, is what she's 5'3", I think she's listed at, actually. Which is kind of short for 135, at least in the fighting realm. In real life, that's not short for a woman that will weigh 135. Back to Cachoeira. She's got better grappling stats than Nunes. Not surprised. I keep switching. She's either Nunes or Nunes. It depends on the day of the week. Cachoeira, not surprisingly, has been outstruck by 3.27 strikes per minute. That all came from her first fight. She debuted, I think it was short notice too, was it not, against Valentina
Short notice, Valentina Shevchenko, just to give Valentina a title shot. Yeah.
And the ref wanted death, but he did not get death because Zombie Girl does not die. Zombie Girl plus 155. Nunes, back to Nunes. 10-3 with 7 knockouts, never been finished in a fight. 3-2 in the UFC. She's lost 2 straight as well. This could be a loser leaves town match, but who knows? Who knows? The UFC is generous sometimes with these things. She's not won since January 2023. Used to fight at 145 and 155. 5'3", 155. Lightweight fighter. 2013 Pro MMA debut. 2 inches of reach. She's got long arms at least. 5 years younger than Cachoeira. Better striking stats. More active landing strikes. She's been outstruck, but just barely by 0.03 strikes per minute. Minus 180. Do I really have to pick someone in this fight, Gumby? Seriously?
You do.
I'll take Nunes, better striker. Even though Cachoeira does not get beat by strikes, she gets beat by submissions. I still think Nunes can put enough damage on her to win a decision. So give me the younger fighter, longer arms, better striker. But the first 2 fights, I'm not really don't really care either way. So give me Nunes.
I'm gonna take a swing on an underdog here. I'm gonna take Zombie Girl. You want to hear a fun stat?
Sure.
Zombie Girl 4-6 in the UFC, right? How many times do you think she's closed as a favorite?
0.0.
0 times. She has been an underdog in now 11 straight fights, and she got 4 wins, which pretty much means, especially if you've looked at the odds, you could put money on her and every single one of her fights, and you'd be profitable.
Yeah. There you go. Degenerate thinking right there.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts to think. This is a system play. Here. You just bet Cachoeira and you come out on top at the end of the day. But also, for me, I like a little bit of the way she crowds her opponents, and also that I think and I know she hasn't been good in submissions in her career, but I also think she could kind of grapple Josi Nunes here.
She's better grappling for sure.
Yeah. I mean, anybody is. Josi Nunes, she just slangs. That's pretty much it. She's slanging them and banging them, and doesn't really do much else. And I like Cachoeira. I think with a more complete game. I also just like that she crowds you, but she also doesn't like stick around for like exchanges where she can clearly see her opponent winding up. So I think between those two things, and she puts pretty good combinations on her opponents and stuff like that. We've seen her drop people. We've seen her knock people out. It's not like she doesn't have hands either. And I really do think her chin holds up quite well, which is pretty much all you need to beat Josi Nunes.
She will fight for your money at the very least. A zombie girl will fight for money. This is like my Hammer Bros episode, apparently, except it's Hammer Sisters, Duben and Nunes. I'm just picking everyone that throws those bows, apparently. It'll be interesting, at the very least, the first two fights. All right, before we move on, let me tell you about Edge Boost. SGPN has partnered up with Edge Boost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An Edge Boost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your Edge Boost card. And you know your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. Best part is no credit checks, and it's completely free. Sign up today. Use the promo code SGPN so you get better cashback rewards and instant tier 2 status so you can make your plays in Al Horford. Should I say Kyle Filipkowski? Sure. He had a kind of down game last game, but sure. We're still on his train as well. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And we're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet every sport. Plus, props for every game. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposits, and lightning fast payouts using crypto. Al Horford prop bets are the name of the day. But, of course, UFC Vegas 104 plays as well. Make a Hammer Sisters parlay. It'll probably pay off well. Head to mybookie.ag. Promo code MMASGPN. Almost gave you the wrong promo code. MMASGPN. For 100% deposit match up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code MMASGPN. All right. No more Hammer Sisters, but maybe they're flyweights. They're not really Hammer Bros. Daniel Barez, André Lima. Oh, yeah. I stopped telling you countries. I was telling you countries. I know people love when I do that. Last one was Brazil versus Brazil. This one is Brazil versus Barez is another South American country.
Nope. He's from Spain.
Oh, Spain. I'm sorry. You're right. See, I just assume. Oh, he fights. He must be from below me. All right. Tell you about Barez first. He's 17-6, 7 knockouts, 6 submissions. He's been submitted 3 times. 1-1 in the UFC, 5-1 over his last 6, but he did win his last fight. 0-1 in Contender Series, multiple region championships on his.
Mazel.
Correct. Get the shirt, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Oh, and our code, is our code still on? Madness. Try our code Madness. I think it works up until the tournament starts. So just try it anyhow. Am I supposed to ask you who Barez lost to on Contender Series? Do we care?
I don't know that I remember, to be honest. Yeah, you might have caught me on that one.
Who did Judice lose to then? We'll do that one.
Ernesta Caracate.
Right. This gentleman lost to Carlos Hernandez. So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I almost said Victor Altamirano, but I think that's who he just beat.
Yeah, same thing. Same thing. They're the same people, basically. Are they not? There's a whole group of flyweights, middling low-level flyweights that are all pretty much the same person to me. All right. I told you about his multi-region championships. 2012 pro MMA debut, more active landing strikes. And Lima, he has been outstruck, though, in the UFC and the Contender Series by almost a strike a minute, minus 0.95, plus 285. Lima, mascot. He is the bitee, correct?
Correct, yes. He's the one who got the 50K bonus.
Yes, because he got a tattoo of the bite, right?
Yes.
Anything for the master, Dana White. All right, he's 10-0 with 5 knockouts. 3-0 in the UFC, 1-0 on Contender Series. Has missed weight before at 125. Something to keep in mind. I used to fight up at bantamweight, 0-1 in pro Muay Thai, 7-0 kickboxing, and a champion there. An inch height, an inch of reach over Barez. Here's a big thing for me. 11 years younger. That's massive. Barez kind of made a late career surge to get into the UFC. Lima is a legit prospect, age-wise at least. Better striking stats than Barez. He's outstruck his opponents on the 4 fights we have stats for by 0.55 strikes per minute, minus 330. I think we're on the same page here.
Yeah, I'm going to take Lima.
Yes. Oh, you have some pause.
I will say I do have some pause. First of all, Lima had kind of a close fight when he had trouble with weight with Mitch Raposo. And Mitch Raposo's not bad. Respect to my Massachusetts guys. Yeah. But, Barez brings a similar kind of game in terms of his wrestling and his pace and stuff like that. And it did make me pause and just say, wait a second, I got to watch a little bit of film on these before I solidify this pick. And basically, the biggest read I have on this fight is I think Daniel Barez is not going to be able to stand after 5 minutes. I think you're going to see Lima land some of the gnarliest leg kicks you have.
I love leg kicks.
Yeah, and he's too heavy on his front leg is the thing with Daniel Barez. And I think that will eventually negate the wrestling worry I have. Because, like, you know, not for anything, Lima also had trouble with Igor Severino when Severino bit him. Remember, like, it was weird when he bit him because he was starting to take over the fight with some wrestling. And I was like, okay, well, maybe the wrestling of Andre Lima is not good when he gets tired. He seems to have fixed that. I think that combined with the leg kicks here is enough for me. So yeah, I'm going to go Andre Lima. Originally I wasn't completely sold, but I do think he's faster. And like I said, the leg kicks are a big piece of it.
I'm taking Lima as well. Obviously the line, if you have some hesitation, the line is not going to be playable at minus 330, right?
Yeah. And that's sort of where I was at with that one.
Yeah. Do you see any props coming through for this fight or not?
You might see them on tomorrow's episode.
Yeah. You think he's gonna? Oh yeah, you said he's not gonna be able to stand. Maybe a leg kick TKO. That would be fun, right?
You know, some books have been offering like specifics like that.
Oh yeah,
nice. Like there's one book in particular who doesn't sponsor us, so I won't name them. But they offer like specific submissions, like offer like a guillotine finish, offer like a Dar's choke finish, which is pretty crazy.
Nice. Can you do a double spinning back fist?
They don't have that one, I don't think. Yeah.
once what's his face is back again, fighting again.
Yeah.
Shower Bullet. Yes. I conveniently forgot about him. All right, women's strawweight, and then we're done with the female fights. Thank God, right, everyone? Steph, because we're all a bunch of chauvinistic pigs around here, right? Stephanie, Luciano, Sam Hughes. I guess these aren't the most high level female fights. It's kind of why they're the top of the card, bottom of the card, however you want to think of it. I'll tell you about Sam Page first, one of the best nicknames in the business. That would be Hughes. It'd be funny if it was Luciano, but Luciano's got a great nickname too. Little Rhonda, which is what half of the female fighters in Brazil are nicknamed nowadays. But Sam Page first. The American is 9-6, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. She's been knocked out once, submitted once. 4-5 in the UFC. Loss win over her last 4. She's fought at 125 and 135. It's been outstruck in the UFC by 0.13 strikes per minute. She's at plus 200. Rondina, Little Rhonda, is 6-1-1 with 2 knockouts. Never been finished in a fight. 1-0 in the UFC. 3-1-1 over her last 5. Won her last fight. Is not lost since January 2022. Got a draw in Contender Series. Regional champion. An inch height, an inch reach. 7 years younger than Hughes. Better striking stats. Better grappling stats. More active landing strikes. And she's outstruck her opponents by 2.77 strikes per minute. Minus 230. Hughes had a nice little kind of resurgence a while back, but yeah, I'm off her train other than her being super, super tough here. Oh, Gummy's picking her.
It's not over yet. The Sam Page era is not over yet.
I'm taking Rodina quickly, way younger, better at everything. It probably has not fought the level of competition that Hughes has, and Hughes is a tough out, but I think Luciano can get a decision victory. Now Gummy's going to tell you people the total opposite of what I just said.
I mean, the problem with me for Luciano is that she got bodied in her Contender Series fight by somebody who probably can make atom weight, you know, and
it's an issue
when you're going to fight Sam Page, who is like the king of being like, yeah, I know you're better than me, but also you're going to be tired pretty quick because that's the type of fight she brings. She's in your face constantly. She wears on you. I don't think Luciano's ready for that kind of fight. I know like her cardio held up. Was it Toledo Alencar she fought on? Yeah, I believe in both her UFC debut and her Contender Series fight.
It's true. Yeah, they ran it back.
They ran it back, and like she dealt with the cardio in that one, but it's not the same. Like grappling Toledo Alencar is like grappling somebody who's a jiu-jitsu specialist, and grappling Sam Page is grappling somebody who wants to put her forehead through your chin.
Somebody who's a Sam Page.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
The nickname actually fits. It's true.
and also, like, I think she's, you know, in Luciano's first 2 fights, those 2 fights we have stats for, she's not facing somebody who can do jiu-jitsu and wrestle and box. She's looking at somebody who can pretty much do jiu-jitsu and wrestle a little tiny bit. And now she's going to face an actually complete fighter, and I can get her at plus 220 or something of that nature. Yeah, I like Sam Page here.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Once again, I cannot argue with the logic behind this. Sam Hughes, this at the very least, this will be a very good test for Luciano. Well, it's going to be a test for her, regardless, whether she wins or loses. It will be a very good test for her in her career moving forward. All right, we're going to bantamweight now. Carlos Vera, Josias, Musasa. 3 5-minute rounds. See, this is one of those who are these people fights.
I love both of these guys.
Good. You're going to tell people why. Pequeno is Vera, which means small, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 11-4 with 1 knockout, 5 submissions. He's been submitted twice. 0-1 in the UFC, 4-1 over his last 5. He did lose his last fight. That was back in February of 2024. Oh, the halcyon days of February 2024. 0-1 on the Ultimate Fighter. Apparently that's still going.
He lost to Brad Katona.
Okay, that's a quality loss. Regardless of what we think of Brad Katona, it is a quality loss. The Irish traitor, has not won since September 2022. He used to fight at 145, 1-0 in kickboxing professionally. Better striking stats than Musasa. He's been outstruck though. Vera has over one fight. We have stats for by 1.73 strikes per minute. He's at plus 600. Yikes! This is, I think, our biggest. Yeah, this is the widest odds we have on this here card. Musasa is the KO wizard, and he's pretty much lived up to that, other than in his last fight. He's 8-0 with 7 knockouts. This is his debut. 1-0 on Contender Series. He won his fight there, but did not knock out his opponent. He's fed at 145, 2 inches height, 5 inches reach over Musasa. 11 years younger, so this is another old head versus young head fight. 4 times more active than Vera, better grappling stats than Vera. He got outstruck though in Contender Series by 1.2 strikes per minute, minus 770. Contender Series wasn't really his best showing, but it got him to the UFC at the very least, right?
Yeah, well, and I mean, he's just a freak athlete. He's so good and so powerful. Look, this card in general might be the card I've been the least sure about in my entire life. And this is another one of those fights where I'm going to pick Musasa. And I really considered picking Carlos Vera here. And the reason being is just that, like, I think he needs a moment in order to win. He needs literally one moment to win this fight, because Carlos Vera is very good on the ground, as it was Nakamura who fought him last, right? Rinya Nakamura.
Sounds right.
He had him in like some grappling positions that were really compromising. And he held on because his jiu-jitsu was really good. And like, I really think his jiu-jitsu is good enough to sub Musasa. The problem is I just don't think he's strong enough to get Musasa to the ground. Musasa, like I said before, is an absolute animal in terms of athleticism, in terms of strength. Like, this guy must be working out 24/7 all the time, because he is so freaking strong. And that's where the knockouts come from. So I think he can knock out Vera, first of all. And then in addition to thinking he can knock out Vera, I think he's also just strong enough that he can keep him off the mat. And as long as he doesn't do something dumb, like shoot a double leg and get guillotined, which there's really no reason for him to. Musasa should win this fight.
It's MMA. It's MMA.
That's what I mean. Like, he's a guy who's never fought somebody really high level. Yeah. He's only 7-0, you said?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put negative 600 on him, thinking like the exact same way as what's his face who got guillotined by Anthony Smith that time. Was it Vitor Petrino? Like,
yes, it was. Yeah.
Oh my God. And like, I could see that happening here too, because Vera's guillotine is very good. So I'm going to pick Musasa. I do think he slangs it and bangs it and stays standing up enough, but I'm hesitant on this one for sure.
Yeah,
he's not a parlay piece. He's not a parlay piece.
Okay.
Take him out of there.
Is he a prop or a round robin piece though?
I looked for props, and it's like he's almost like negative 200 on the KO prop.
Yeah, that's too bad. I'll take Musasa as well, but because like I've been saying the past few weeks, he has the cheat codes. He's got the strength, he's got the athleticism, he's explosive, and he's 11 years younger too, which is going to help here, especially at a lighter weight class, having all those things in his favor. But does he have the smarts? That's the thing. We'll see if he's smart enough to.
He did pretty good in that Contender Series fight where he went 15 minutes. I want to give him his flowers for that one.
It's true. He didn't get the knockout, but he still scratched a victory, which is a very good point. All right, before we move on to the last couple of fights that we're going to cover today, I'm going to tell you about a Rhythm. A Rhythm is throwing an epic March Madness party, and you're invited. All Rhythm users are invited to a first 4 watch party at Wednesday, March 19th at the awesome Stadium Swim at Circa Las Vegas. Free drinks, plus you get to hang out with the guys from SGPN. And it gets better. Rhythm is also giving away a $250 March Madness future for one random lucky Rhythm user. Even if you can't make the party, you can still win with the future bet. So come by and use Rhythm to help you fill out your bracket and make some bets while you're there. Rhythm is really good at this stuff. Here's some stats from last year's March Madness. With UConn winning, Rhythm's percentage of winners was 39% higher than in ESPN brackets as a whole. Rhythm at 34% of brackets, ESPN at 24.7% of the brackets. Rhythm predicted Duquesne, NC State, and Oakland upsets. 45% of Rhythm brackets had NC State reaching the Sweet 16. So you got a free party plus a chance at a $250 feature bet. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/party for details. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/PARTY party. Underdog Fantasy, NBA, NHL, college basketball, whatever your sport, you can cash in big with Underdog Fantasy Pick'em. Underdog is offering a Luka Doncic discount for every Lakers game for the rest of the regular season. Also for football diehards, Pick'em projections for select players, 40-yard dash times during this week's NFL Combine. Do you have a play for the people? Maybe one of our two favorite players, Gumby?
No, Sunday night, I like Donovan Clingan, the center for the Blazers, to pick up his higher than on his rebounds. They're playing the Knicks in the night game, so you should get this in your ears before that night game starts. He's had 9 in back-to-back games, so I like his chances to go higher than tonight.
Rebound. You're big on the rebound props.
I've been hitting a lot of rebound props thanks to Philip Kowski and Zach Collins and like just completely random guys who are filling in late in the season when their teams have given up.
All right, so the play is higher than the rebounds for Donovan Clingan. And when you go sign up with our code MMA SGPN, you can claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN, higher than rebounds for Clingan. All right, we're sticking with bantamweight. Su Young Yu versus AJ Cunningham. Let's break it down.
Best nickname on the card.
The Savage. Yeah,
No.
Savage is a great nickname.
No.
Dana White gave him his nickname, right?
That's not the one I was talking about.
I know. Cunningham is the Savage. 11-4, 4 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out twice. 0-1 in the UFC. Loss over his last 3. 4-3 over his last 7. TKO loss in his last fight. 0-1 in Contender Series. Who'd you lose to, Gumby?
AJ Cunningham was on Contender Series?
Oh, you don't even remember.
Oh, not that long ago. Right. He lost 1-1 fight outside, came back to the UFC, got slaughtered in that fight. Was it? Oh, I'm not going to get it. Nope. I'm having a tough one today.
Yeah. Kevin, you're not. Stephen Wynn.
Oh, he's the guy who lost to Stephen Wynn in his like 8th chance.
Yes. Oh, I forgot to tell you where country Musasa is actually from a different country that we don't talk about very often, right? He's from Democratic Republic of Congo. And where is Vera from, Gumby?
Colombia.
Yeah, we're going with Colombia again. Ecuador. Boy, we're going to get Colombia eventually. Ecuador. Anyhow, that was the last fight. We're South Korea for you, AJ Cunningham, the good old United States of America. All right, the Savage. I'm telling you about him already. So he lost the Contender Series. He was a regional champ. He's got 4 inches height, 6 inches of reach over you. That's massive. Over you, Gumby. I thought you were tall, but no, he has that much reach over you. He's 3 times more active striking than you, Gumby. Yeah, you're not a striker. You're a grappler. He has been outstruck, though, by 4.24 strikes per minute. Yikes. That'll get you some losses. Plus 500. Jiu-jitsu. But they don't spell it. Do they spell it Y-O-O?
It does not matter. It's a great nickname. Just let it happen.
His last name is spelled Y-O-U, yet Jiu-Jitsu is Y-O-O Jitsu. Okay. 14-3 with 2 no contests, 3 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out once. So he is a durable dude. 1-0 UFC, 2-0 on road to UFC and the champion. He won the championship in his 1 UFC fight there. So he really kind of hasn't fought in the UFC. He's won 3 straight. He's gone 7-1 with 2 no contests over his last 10. That is a talent. Picking up 2 no contests. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get our shirt, get our gear, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Try the code MADNESS. Hopefully it still works for you. All right. Back to you, not me. He has fought at 145 and 159, of course, that weight class. 2014 Pro MMA debut, a year younger than Cunningham, better striking stats, better grappling stats. He's outstruck his opponents. I guess 3 opponents we have stats for in the Road 2 tournament by 0.71 strikes per minute, minus 625. And it's me, or is it you? Ha ha ha. You is my pick, Gumby. Obviously, you is my pick. But you still don't. You never know with these guys coming off of Contender Series or Road 2, stuff like that, because they haven't really fought quote unquote UFC level talent. But I think you can pass this test by getting by a kind of mediocre Savage.
Yeah, I think the big difference for me here is just the jiu-jitsu game. And I know Cunningham's never been subbed, but like jiu-jitsu really is relentless when it comes to his grappling. He's really great at taking the back. I love his positional stuff. And I was a hater kind of at the first fight I saw him in Road to the UFC. I think I picked against him in the quarterfinals that year. I was like, I've seen the tape on him, and it didn't look like he could repeat that against high level opponents. And then he proved me wrong once, and then I was all on board. Then I was like, oh, okay, this guy can really do it. And like he looked great in those fights. He was relentless with the takedowns. He's got the cardio to hold up, the jiu-jitsu to hold up. I think this is a great fight for him. Give me jiu-jitsu here.
All right, we agree on jiu-jitsu, and of course, we can't leave without talking about some big boys. Heavyweights, the only heavyweight fight on the card. Surprisingly, it's not in our co-main event slot. It is headlining the prelims. We have got Waldo Cortes-Acosta, one of our favorites from the Dominican Republic, versus Ryan Spann from the United States. Let's break it down. Yes, Superman Spam is a heavyweight now. What's his face is feeding his fighters lots now, Gumby, over at Fortis MMA, right?
He's feeding his fighters more. Yeah,
exactly. He's feeding them more to make them move up. So he's yet another gentleman that has moved up heavyweight. Spann is 22-10, 6 knockouts, 13 submissions. He's been knocked out 4 times, submitted 3 times, 8-5 in the UFC. 1-3 over his last 4. He did win his last fight though. He has fought at, as I mentioned, light heavyweight and middleweight. Missed weight before at light heavyweight. Now he's a big boy. 1-1 in Contender Series, LFA champion, a regional champion as well. 2013 Pro MMA debut, an inch of height, an inch of reach over WCA. He has been outstruck in the UFC by 0.6 strikes per minute. He's at plus 150 for his heavyweight debut. Salsa Boy. What a great nickname. 12-1, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. He's never been finished in a fight. 5-1 in the UFC. Yep, he's won 5 fights in the UFC. He's won 3 straight. He went 1-0 in Contender Series. He was the LFA champ, 1-0 Bellator, 2-0 Road to 1 championship. So almost got into the biggest promotion in the world. 6-4 as a pro boxer, better striking stats, more active landing strikes. And he's outstruck the motley crew of opponents he's faced in the UFC and Contender Series by 2.04 strikes per minute, minus 163.
Yeah, I'm going dog here to close it out. I'm taking Ryan Spann. Yep. First of all, I really like what Save Sadu is doing with these light heavyweights who look like they're not going to contend at the top of that division. Mm-hmm. Like most of them are like 245, walk around at 245 kind of guys. You can put 5 pounds of muscle on them and they're not really getting outsized by a lot of these heavyweights, right? Kennedy Nzechukwu is a big dude. And like, I was worried he was just going to look fat in his first fight at heavyweight, and he didn't. He looked ripped. And like the beauty of them moving up is then that makes them the like, I don't know if anybody remembers this or if I'm going to sound like a big old head here, but like when JDS popped up on the scene, it was all about being the bulkiest, heaviest, widest looking heavyweight you possibly could. And he showed up and was like, yeah, but what if I'm faster than you big chunky guys? Like, what if I'm way faster than you muscle heads? And like, then he just absolutely was knocking people out. I think Ryan Spann's got a chance to do the same thing here. I think he's going to be a lot faster than a lot of these guys. Again, you worry about him getting hit up at this weight class, but I think his weight holds up. He's also kind of sneakily a really good submission artist. Like he's caught a lot of people in his career in submissions, and Waldo Cortes-Acosta is bad on the mat, like real bad on the mat. So I think Ryan Spann's got tons of avenues to victory here. I've never really been impressed with Waldo Cortes-Acosta's striking. So yeah, give me Ryan Spann here.
Yeah, I agree. As I said, I was just about to write an article, and then luckily I realized that you had just written about him. So Ryan Spann is my pick as well. Cortes-Acosta is not good, Gumby. Here's who he's fought. Here's who he's fought in the UFC. He beat Robelis Despagne out of the UFC. Andrei Arlovsky out of the UFC. Lucas Brzeski.
He didn't beat Andrei Arlovsky for the record either.
Right. Lucas Brzeski out of the UFC. He lost to Marcos Rogério de Lima, who got popped for steroids. Chase Sherman out of the UFC. Jared Vanderai out of the UFC. Somehow they found.
And like the only one of them can grapple a little bit is Rogério de Lima, right? Yeah. Like that's the only one who can grapple a little bit, and that's his loss.
Yep, Spann is disappointed at light heavyweight. Hopefully, the move up is the right move for him. This is a great play at dog money in my eyes, and not just like the level of competition, but as Gumby said, he should be faster. You would expect him to be more athletic. Cortes-Acosta isn't exactly balletic on his feet, so he should be able to work circles around him. So Ryan Spann, we're all in on Superman. All right, let's recap. Both have Spam, both have you. Yes, you. We both have Musasa, and then we start differing. I have Luciano. He has Hughes. We both have Lima. I have Nunes. He has Cachoeira. I have Duben. He has a Judice. Boom. You are set until tomorrow when we will get you set for the rest of the fight card. In the meantime, we shall be in the Discord with all that love flowing. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Catch us on the YouTube MMA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Please and thank you. On the Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there. And on Instagram, my Substack is moneymma.substack.com. Check that out. Gumby has got Top Turtle MMA Podcast. Tell the people who is on it this week.
Carli, Judice, and Kurt Hollabaugh both fighting on this card.
The all Louisiana fight episode as well. So check that out. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Try the code madness. Should still work as far as I know. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get some bonus content. And when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy and for mybookie.ag, the code is MMASGPN. Back tomorrow, Crispy, Jeff Fox. What should your name be? Rondina Vreeland. And we'll talk to you then.